So this is what I'm thinking of the final version of this. It's called the wind cube because it is a cube. It's 150 by 150 by 150, and you're able to stack them up to build a wind wall, which is pretty much what I wanted it to be able to do. And it's different to the earlier prototype, and it now has a full case. But that's not the only difference. If we take the top off, there we go. Then the tolerances between the magnets, which are carried on this cylinder, and the coil, which is right here, is much closer because, of course, the strength of the magnetic field is proportional to the square of the distance. So the further away it gets, the more that magnetic field drops off. So by bringing them closer, what you're able to do is increase the magnetic field strength really quite easily, but it's a question of tolerances. The other big difference is this coil. This coil now has 1,000 turns on it of SWG32, and that means that the voltage output of this is going to be very much higher, just because the coil is better made and the magnets are nearer. Those are the two key things in any generator. What we're going to do is look at how we would make that output into a usable input for something else, because of course all of these style of generators produce an AC, and AC is not tremendously useful when it comes to these kind of things. What you really want, if you're going to charge batteries, for example, is DC. Okay, so I've got it set up in the same way that we did with the previous video. We're just going to turn the fan on and see what happens. The fan blows at about 4 meters per second here because that's the average wind speed in the UK. But this is so sensitive that if I just spin that by hand, see, 2.5 volts, 5 volts just by hand. Anyway, let's turn the fan on. Okay, I appreciate this is open circuit voltage. Look at that voltage climb. And that is just the result of winding more windings on the coil and making the magnets closer. That's awesome. Okay, yes, that's enough of that. Let's turn that off. Okay, that was fun. But it also had a serious purpose. It gives us some guidelines, because in order to change that from AC to DC, we need to put it through a rectifier. Now you can build a rectifier from 4 diodes, or you can buy the little package like this. And I bought 30 of these from eBay for, I think it was £2 or something. So they're very cheap. But we need to know what kind of current and voltage they can stand, and what kind of current and voltage we can expect from our machine in order to choose the right one. Now this particular one is 2 amps at 1,000 volts, and as we saw, even open circuit voltage, we're not going to get 1,000 volts. So this will live up to the output of the wind turbine really, really easily. Actually, I cope with it fine. And as I said before in a previous video, we're not going to be generating a couple of amps out of this, so this little rectifier is ideal for what we want it for. And if you look at the top, there'll be 2 squiggly lines and a plus and a minus. The output from the coil goes to squiggly lines, and then the plus and the minus is your DC. Your DC is going to be a bit all over the place, actually, and so what we need to do is smooth that out. And to smooth it out, you just use a capacitor. So this capacitor is an electrolytic capacitor rated at, says he, if I can see where that is, there we go, 50 volts. So again, it's going to do the job just Jim dandy, and we can put those onto the end of the coil. Okay, and here it is wired up and laid out. Now the only reason it's long wires, incidentally, is because it's easy to show you what's going on. You would, of course, make it much neater. But first of all, the wires come from the coil to the rectifier on the side with the squiggly lines. And it doesn't matter which wire goes to which leg of the squiggly lines. But once it comes out, it's a plus or a minus, so it does matter. So the minus comes out of here and goes into the minus of the capacitor, and the plus comes out of here and goes into the plus of the capacitor. Then I've got a couple of crocodile clips, and I've put this meter on, and you can see the meter is now measuring DC, and it already has a charge. And it has a charge because I've been testing this to make sure it works, and that capacitor has been charged. If I spin this, we see the charge go up, and then it drops slowly, and that's what the capacitor is doing. The capacitor is storing that charge and feeding it back out slowly, and so it will last a lot longer, and that's what evens out the voltage that comes out of this thing. Okay, that was it. I mean, shockingly simple, wasn't it? But that was just the basics of what you need to do. You can make it more complicated if you want, but at the minimum, that's what you need to do in order to create the DC from an AC that's a relatively smooth DC. And of course, if you want the thing regulated, so you want to run a phone from it or maybe charge 12-volt batteries, then you'll need a regulator of some kind. Very frequently it's a DC to DC buck boost step-down converter that's used, but all we need to do is that to get a DC out of it. Now, that capacitor was 1,000 microfarads, or if you like, 1 millifarad. Given that the energy stored on a capacitor is a half CV squared, and it's measured in joules, then if you take the voltage, square it, and divide it by 1,000, what you'll get are the joules stored. And of course, a joule per second is a watt, and so it's giving you a very clear idea of what that little thing is actually generating. Anyway, now we've got it converted to DC and some indication of what the wattage output's going to be, let's give it another run and see what it does. So we are now measuring DC voltage. Let's turn on our fan and see what happens. Remember, this fan simulates a 4 meter per second, 4.5 meter per second wind. Anyway, I thought it was quite cool output for such a little machine, actually. I thought it did really rather well. Now, the only reason it's like that is because I happen to like the wind wall concept and can see a use for it. But that doesn't matter. The things we've looked at are true of any wind turbine. The same principles actually apply. In fact, any generator is covered by the same principles. So, I hope you found the series useful. Thank you very much for watching, and please do remember to like and subscribe.